What is up, party people? Happy Wednesday. So, I want to get this right. Just got a little person in my ear said, hey, we got a Rumble thing now. Is this true or is this true? Are we on the Rumble?
We're on the Rumble.
So we're rumbling, bumbling, and stumbling right now.
Facebook, Twitter, Twitch,
YouTube,
and Rumble.
and Rumble. So we're there. We're there. We're there, kids. We're on the Rumble. Finally, we are there. Congratulations to all involved. Very excited about that. A lot of stuff to get to today. We'll talk some about Texas. And obviously, you know, the Epstein stuff is interesting. And I don't want to... This was so poorly done in the way that they did this. And the way that they not only half-assed it and kind of handed it out to people via Axios with nobody signing it, no timestamp on it, saying, here you go. And I said yesterday, I say it again, as bad as it was, the way that Trump answered that question yesterday, like, are we still talking about him? I've heard from more people who are ardent Trump supporters who said, you know what? This is BS. This is crap. This is absolute. You can't do this in such a way as to, A, give zero explanation worth a damn, and then ask people after you push this thing in so many ways and had so many people out there harping on this thing over and over again, and then say, well, there's nothing there, nothing to see, and just drop it. Of all of the, look, Trump's not perfect. Some of you out there think he is. Some of you out there, you do. I mean, some of you go, I don't think so. But there are plenty of you out there who are going to get mad for me even saying even any of that. But I don't worship politicians. I want him to be super successful. I want to be the most successful president of all time. And the guy after him, or gal, mostly guy, I want them to be the most successful president, and so on and so forth. That's what I want for our leaders. But the way that went down, and listening to people out there, first of all, some people try to twist and turn because they're not quite sure exactly how to approach. Am I supposed to be mad? Am I not supposed to be mad? Am I am I supposed to? No, this was, you failed. And the way that you handled it was not good. It wasn't. And when you listen to people, like I was saying last night, I did this, Jack Posobiec, who, this guy, big Trump supporter, obviously. You hear him a lot on Chris's show, Chris and him are pals. I don't catch a lot of stuff like that because, if you guys realize that for the last, 45 minutes, Belle and I have been watching the show Tires. If you've never seen it, it is the funniest show on Netflix, and it stars Shane Gillis. So that's kind of where I go with a lot of stuff. But you hear this? This is genuinely somebody who's beyond pissed.
And once again, we are told now, all the way from the heights of the United States Attorney General, that the Epstein case is closed. There's no more information on Jeffrey Epstein. Why do you guys keep asking about Jeffrey Epstein? She says that we don't need to hear about Jeffrey Epstein ever again. You know what this sounds like? I'm going to tell you exactly what this sounds like. Pam Bondi sounds like Hillary Clinton right now, saying, at this point, what does it even matter, when she was talking about Benghazi? All right?
Wow. You get prepared to Hillary? The nothing burger, what does it matter? He's pissed. But on top of that, some of my friends who are the influencers, who have several million followers, they text me and said, you know what it is? It's as much about the reputation side of things, where you're having to now hear from people who are detractors talking about where's this, where's that, because of your support and you're pushing this, and now it's gone away. And that's the side. People who supported you with unwavering love and devotion, essentially, now feel like you were just told, deal with it or else.
This is not how you treat the American people. This is not how you treat basic communications. This is not how you treat your voters and your supporters. And certainly, by the way, myself personally, I feel very angry, upset, used every word you want to know, from having gone to the White House and receiving this binder full of baloney that was completely publicly available information already that we were told was new information on Epstein. It wasn't. We were told that more information was coming. There wasn't. You claimed that you had the list on your desk. You didn't. And none of it came out. And now when people have the obvious response of asking a question about it, you get in their faces and you tell them to stop asking. No, you sound like Hillary Clinton right now, and this isn't what you promised the American people.
And this was not a good look. It wasn't. And look, I've seen some people try to twist it. Oh, this is part of the play. They're doing this. This is part of the play, man. This is it, right? No, this was, as I said yesterday, I didn't think we were going to get anything out of it. I said that since the beginning of this, because obviously the powers that be wanted to use this guy for all it was worth, for whatever reason. And they did. And then even Epstein's brother came out. It's like, no, I don't believe any of the stuff they said. So, but the way that this went down reminded me of the whole Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light thing. And as bad as that was, the marketing manager doing a interview saying that Bud Light drinkers were knuckle draggers, essentially, mouth breezer, frat boys, MAGA folk, that did more damage. And yesterday, him going, are we still talking about this? As if it was ridiculous. Yeah, because you built a lot on this. So that's why people are talking about it. And people went out and they built a bit of a career, and they built a bit of I'm in the know, and then all of a sudden, it caused more controversy. There's no doubt about that. Look it up, 119 dead, 160, now they don't even know how many are still, this morning was 173 missing. Now it's 160 plus. But the issue with the whole thing in Texas is everybody turned it into politics, but they wanted the blame game, because that's what you do in today's world. They're not interested in the results of, are we trying to make things better? They're interested in, can I damage Trump? That's the number one thing. Can my team score points on the internet where it matters, apparently, and on television? They're not interested in the aftermath of it, because you want to know why? The aftermath will come, and the craziness, the hype, all of the emotions will die down, and those people will be left to live in that situation where they're replaying all of this. And there are tons of questions out there about what the hell went wrong. And let me tell you something. The more that you hear about some of this stuff, the more you start to realize local, it's important. And they didn't do the right thing.
The community here is asking these questions. What happened? When did it happen? Was the emergency manager awake at the time? Did they push the button to issue an emergency alert?
Sir, it's not that easy when you just push a button, okay? There's a lot more to that.
There's a conversation that's had. I understand. So did it happen, sir?
I can't tell you at this time.
I can't tell you. The biggest thing that you will do in your life, the emergency management person, is do this. Do you want to know how? This was crazy when I found this out. How they alerted each camp? Telephone. But get this. If a certain camp, it got to a level, the water rising, they were to call the camp down, and then they were to call the next camp as the water started. It's a telephone game. That's like saying, as the Titanic's sinking in the front, the bow, and it's going up, that the front is going to call the back and say, guess what's coming? 20 times they have met about it. As just in April, they said, nah, we don't think we're going to do anything yet with this, because it hadn't happened. They're worried. Are you ready for this? It was going to be a little too expensive, and it was going to be a little too loud to put in. They're recovering bodies right now. That's what they're doing. They've only looked at 26 miles of the 100-plus miles they have to look. This is not a rescue mission anymore. This is a recovery mission. And your thing is, well, I can't remember if I pushed the button. I mean, maybe I did. This was your gig, man. This was it. Could you imagine if you watched the movie Armageddon and Bruce Willis forgot to push the button? What would have happened? Everybody would have died. You didn't push the damn button. This was your gig. You had one job. And you can't even go, I can't remember. Because you know why? If you say I can't remember, what you're really saying is, yeah, I didn't. I thought I did, but I don't. I probably didn't.
There's been a lot of scrutiny on Camp Mystic, but public records show that state inspectors approved the camp's emergency plans on July 2nd. There's something else that we dug into. Public records here in Kerr County show that the Kerr County Commission discussed the issue of a flood warning system 20 times since 2016, but installed nothing new.
Because it was going to be too loud. We didn't want the loud. We can't have the loud. Ugh, it's crazy. A lot of text to get to today. A bunch of other stuff. We've got some fun. It is Wednesday, guys. We have One Hit Wonder Wednesday. We got One Hit Wonder Wednesday. And today's One Hit Wonder is awesome. It is so cool. We're going to walk you through that. Bell, do we know what the Rumble call thing is? Do we have any idea?
I don't think it's searchable yet.
Okay. Because some people have asked about that. I'm like, look, we just found out 2 minutes ago what it was. So are you looking at it? Can you see the rumble? Are we rumbling?
Yes.
Are we stumbling? Are we bumbling? I don't know what's going on.
All of it. We're doing all of it.
Fantastic. Oh, so much stuff, though. A lot of good stuff, fun stuff. Yes, I heard Carnival Cruises is racist. I had no idea that they were racist until now.
Why they're going to start putting Denny's in the
No.
ships?
It's what you can't do on Carnival Cruise anymore. What? And, of course, something that starts small becomes something big. And this it's kind of funny the way this thing's played itself out, though. It is because it only, as we know, the internet, it only takes one little thing and things go chaotic and crazy. Got your text messages as well, a bunch of other stuff to get to today. A little bit more on Epstein, more on Texas, New Mexico yesterday, flooding.
Whoa. Hey.
What?
We're over Epstein. We've moved past that.
So it's not about Epstein. Epstein, you know what? Did you see Tucker?
No.
Tucker started out his thing, goes, I have to apologize to this guy. I have to apologize to him because we maligned him, said all these horrible things about him, when it seems like he had done nothing wrong, according to everybody else. There was none of this.
Apparently.
And this lady's in jail for no reason whatsoever. Why Trump hasn't pardoned her for I mean, when you think about a lot of this stuff, you do ask the question.
Well, there is the fact that every piece of video evidence they had was nothing but child porn, obviously. So we have to hate him for that.
Is that we have to hate him? We have to hate him for everything. He's all the things that are bad, just like the laptop firm Hunter, just like Russia. It's all the things that are bad. So we shall see. Again, at this point, it's not about Epstein, all right? It is about the attitude of how they acted. And what's the over-under on Pam Bondi? She make it through the month? I don't think she does. You know what? Of all the people that he brought on, I had the highest hopes because I thought she's got a good resume. And she's been over her head. Even my buddy who's an attorney goes, dude, she's an idiot. She comments on stuff before not only there's a trial, before somebody's charged, she's commenting on things. I think she's done. I think this is it. I think if she gets to the month, I'd be surprised. Coming up, some good stuff. It is White Woman Wednesday. A bunch of other goodies to get to. Reach out to us across all of our social media. And now we're on Rumble. Don't ask us what it's called because we're not quite sure yet. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Raycon, best earbuds around. Love my Raycons. They're incredible. Fit, feel, comfort, second to none. Sound quality blows it out of the water. Price that won't break the bank. It's about half the price of all of the other earbuds that are out there. And here's what you get. 8 hours of talk time, 32 hours of battery life. The best fit around. Water and sweat resistant. Great for this kind of weather, as we all know. The feel in your ear, the comfortability is second to none. Multi-connectivity, fast charging. I can go on and on. But why? What do you mean, Chad? How about this 30-day happiness guarantee? And are you ready for this? 15% off. They start well under $100. Boom. Tons of colors to choose from. You will love these things. And if you're not happy, send them back within 30 days, and they give you your money back. No questions asked. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad now to get the best earbuds around. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad.
Squabbles continue between President Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin over Ukraine. No deal in Gaza just yet. And what did President Biden's doctor have to say in a congressional hearing on the former president's health? We'll have those stories coming up at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yeah, Putin, he wants it all, kids. He feels like he can do whatever he wants, and this is where Trump's got to step up, and I know he is. Let's give him more weapons if we're going to have to do this. We have to face the fact. The thought, I think he thought he had a better relationship with Putin, and like, hey, we can get this done. You can have you'll save face. You'll get out of here. You'll save some face. It'll be good for you, for everybody involved. We could stop the killing, and we can move on from this. And the reality is, Putin wants everything. He's not going to go away quietly, and what he has now isn't enough.
Remember how he conned Bush, and Bush said, I looked into his eyes and I saw a man with a soul.
Yeah, there's no soul.
No, there's no soul.
That was somebody else's soul he took. I mean, just the other day I was reading, there was another minister that had criticized him, resigned, and then he died of suicide a little bit later. Like, we're not even, I mean, really? It's like, this is who this guy is.
Was the resignation even actually necessary?
At that point, no. I mean, it would have been better if he didn't, because that way there wouldn't be so much, oh, he did this wrong this time. Yes, you did. Just let him, you're going to do it. If he invites you over to his house, don't let him make you tea, and don't go into an area where it's more than 2 stories, because you'll be done for. There's no doubt about
And
that.
if he's walking around with an umbrella, stay 6 feet away.
He is. That guy's bad news. Like, we always talk about, like, this guy. This guy's like, what are the, like, he's the bad news. He's the serious kind of bad news. That's the kind of guy where you're like, oh, this guy's, just, he's done some stuff. He has. And he's done, like, for all the stuff about BB and stuff, and his brother was a bigger, I think, war hero than he was. But BB did stuff. BB fought. BB did missions. And his brother, I think his brother was the only one. I think he died in Entebbe. I think he was the only one. But when it comes to just all around a bad person, like, the pooter leads the way. And Trump is pissed.
Weeks ago, where the president was on social media telling Vladimir Putin to stop the attacks. He has said recently he's not happy with what Putin is doing, but now he is certainly putting this out there publicly. He had a phone conversation last week with Putin and told reporters afterwards they talked about the war in Ukraine and that he is not happy about this. And the president said that they didn't make any progress in that phone call. Yesterday, when he was talking about Putin and the war in Ukraine, he even used an expletive when talking to reporters.
Because he's not happy. Because he thought he was going to roll in and have a conversation or two with Putin, give Putin what he wants. Right, the Poots, what you want? You want this? All right, fine, we'll get this. We'll get Zelensky. They tore Zelensky up that day in the White House. They embarrassed him. Whether you like Zelensky, don't like it, what they did that. And Putin said, well, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and you guys aren't going to stop me. And look, this is how you treated him. And he's going to push it until he can't push it anymore. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Right now, he's a lot more focused on what's going on with Gaza. I think that's a bigger deal to him at this point in time, which is because I think that's somewhat within reach compared to this, because Putin's not going to listen until he absolutely has to. And right now he feels, I don't have to. And you can't make me. And because of that, I'm going to do whatever it is I want to do. And I'll continue to do it. And I don't care if there's 1 off-ramp, 5 off-ramps. I don't care about any of that stuff. So be prepared. This thing could slog out. I thought it would be the end of summer. We'd have something in place. But I think until he runs out of men at this point, that may not be true. Coming up, a lot of stuff still to squeeze into. Very interesting, the whole hearing with the doctor for Biden, Dr. Frankenstein. Find out what he had to or say. What did he say? Did he say anything? Talk a little bit about that. A lot of other good stuff to get to. More on what's going on in Texas as the blame game continues. And immigration, that is dangerous. ICE, all of this stuff going on. And the fact that the media is not covering it outside of some conservative enclaves about what took place over the weekend is baffling again. It really is. You missing any show? Shame on you. Grab the podcast. Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Good afternoon. It's 1 p.m., and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A complete weather forecast coming up. President Trump has recently said he plans to send weapons to Ukraine as Russia continues to bombard Ukraine with airstrikes. The president yesterday said he was upset with Russian President Vladimir Putin and said he was unwilling to stop the fighting. The Kremlin called President Trump's comments, quote, harsh. Here's more from Karen Travers.
Remember, it was a couple weeks ago where the president was on social media telling Vladimir Putin to stop the attacks. He has said recently he's not happy with what Putin is doing, but now he is certainly putting this out there publicly. He had a phone conversation last week with Putin and told reporters afterwards they talked about the war in Ukraine and that he is not happy about this. And the president said that they didn't make any progress in that phone call. Yesterday, when he was talking about Putin and the war in Ukraine, he even used an expletive when talking to reporters.
No deal between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and U.S. officials on ending the fighting in Gaza. Netanyahu was in Washington this week, meeting with the president as well as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. and other congressional officials were also met with. Here is more now from Luis Martinez.
The main sticking point right now appears to be how Israel would withdraw from the southern city of Rafah. Of course, that's a main city that has been the target of main Israeli offensive operations. The question for them is, how do they pull back? Because Israel says they need to maintain a presence in Rafah to ensure Israel's security. Hamas, of course, wants guarantees that Israel is going to pull out from there.
Former President Joe Biden's White House doctor. He pleaded the fifth today, refusing to answer questions posed by a House committee that's now formally investigating Biden's health while in office. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has the latest.
His attorney says the former president's physician cited two bases for refusing to answer lawmakers' questions: doctor-patient confidentiality and the Fifth Amendment's protection against self-incrimination. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer.
What Dr. O'Connor did today only added fuel to the fire, that there was a cover-up.
But the panel's vice-ranking member, Texas Democrat Jasmine Crockett, said Kevin O'Connor should never have been expected to violate his patient's privacy.
There at least was one person in the room that understands what an oath is, and that was the doctor.
That is the latest news. We've got weather on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
First alert meteorologist Stefano DiPietro. We do have rain again in the forecast for today, though not everybody will get rain this afternoon. Just keep in mind any thunderstorm could produce heavier downpours. We have temperatures near 90 today. Tonight we fall to 70s and the rain tapers off briefly. Tomorrow afternoon, daytime heating showers and thunderstorms, still very much hit and miss throughout the day, but gusty winds, heavier downpours remain possible with any thunderstorm through our Thursday.
All right, guys, gals, ladies, you having trouble? Maybe the shirts don't fit like they used to. You're working out, you're eating right, but it just can't get rid of those extra inches. You can now, thanks to Contours, and it's amazing. My wife and I go there. You hear Dan, he goes there, and I'll tell you what, it's not wizardry, it's just technology. They're incredible. So what is it? First of all, you go into locals, Cool Springs, you cruise on over there, you meet the entire staff. You go in, and they put you at ease. It's not invasive. It's so relaxing. It's this technology that melts away the fat. The inches disappear. In fact, your first treatment's $99, and you're guaranteed to lose 2 inches, or you don't have to pay. It is incredible. I lost like 4 inches. I feel amazing. My shorts feel better because, yeah, you can work out. You can do a lot of things. You get to a certain point in life, ladies and gentlemen, you kind of know that sometimes you need a little bit of help. This is help the right way. They also do facials, which is amazing. But check out all they can do for you, help you get in those clothes, help you feel better and look better. Give you some confidence over their Contours. Call them today. Schedule an appointment, 615-236-9960. Remember, you can lose 2 inches on your first treatment, or you don't have to pay. 615-236-9960, or visit contoursllc.com to schedule. So the doctor, Dr. Seuss in there, or whatever his name is, Biden's doctor, talking about Biden. No, he's not. I'm taking the fifth. I'm not going to talk. It's crazy. Why would you do that, sir? And a lot of people are going, why didn't you just say, doctor-patient privilege? You pleaded the fifth. That's different.
This doctor situation is really kind of intriguing. I mean, can you imagine your own physician saying, I can't answer those questions because of the Fifth Amendment? Not because of HIPAA, not because of physician-patient privilege, but Fifth Amendment. That's a weird moment. I'm not sure what's going on there. There are a lot of thorny privilege questions that arise when you have a doctor, this kind of rare moment of a physician being called into Congress. And I think his attorneys were trying to vet that, let's create some ground rules. It's probably heading towards either contempt or litigation or both, where at some point a judge has to weigh in and say he has to answer these questions. You could ask this guy a lot of questions that would set the scene that would definitely not implicate any sort of privilege. But ultimately, this issue of whether you can assert privileges in front of Congress is kind of a sticky one. Justice Roberts weighed in on it a few years ago with President Trump's records, and I think that they would probably have to respect a physician-patient privilege, but that doesn't mean the guy can't be a goldmine of information around that.
And we know what happened. I mean, we're not idiots. The question is, did you cover something up? That's the number one. Did you cover something up? Did you lie? Did they tell you you couldn't test for certain things, that's off limits, and they were seeing another doctor for something? I mean, because that could have been their MO, like, hey, look, here's our modus operandi. We're going to go over here for all of the things that could be wrong, whether it's the cancer or some of these other things. You're to test his cholesterol, his weight, and things of that nature. You're not to test some of the stuff that may be put into the public sphere that could cause people to go, uh-oh. But we knew. I mean, that's just it. We knew. Everybody knew. It wasn't hard. What you have, like I said, Stevie Wonder could see from across the room. Everybody knew what was going on. Everybody did. And you pled the fifth so as not to incriminate yourself. I don't want, on the grounds I may incriminate myself. Really? Okay. So, but no, you can't make them break the doctor-client privilege. I get that. But that's not what you did here. And I don't know if it's just bad attorneying or whatever, or if maybe you did doctor up some stuff yourself, potentially. I don't know. And we can also ask the question that should all of their doctrine be made public, because you are running the free world, and because we are hiring you specifically for a job that you need to be kind of on top of things. It's not the same as you're a butcher or, you're an accountant or whatever. So, because you ask that question, like maybe this is what should happen. I don't know, but we all knew. Come on. We all knew. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends of all ages, Bill Nye, the science guy, early today talking about, of course, climate change. That's what causes all the stuff. Is everything's climate change. Everything is climate change. Doesn't matter what it is. Ken today, have you guys noticed he's not here? He'll be back tomorrow. Had issues not only with his car's air conditioner, but his home's air conditioner, climate change. That's why. Because if the climate was perfect all the time, Ken wouldn't have had to worry about that.
And the first 6 months of the Trump administration, we've seen an end to some of the federal efforts on not just fossil fuel, but other efforts that had been in place government-wide to promote alternative energy.
Yes. To be the world leader. To have the U.S. lead the world in renewable energy sources so that we would be able to export our technologies, that people would want to come to the U.S. to learn how to do this stuff and so on. So the opportunities still exist, but we do need to turn things around. And this is, of course, you're getting my side of the story.
Well, I mean, it's the science side.
Yeah, well, yeah. And, I'm a big fan of this, everybody.
Oh, yeah?
The U.S. Constitution, Article 1. I like to show this to people. Article 1, Section 8. Article 1's the legislative branch, Congress. Section 8 is the miscellany, letters of marque about piracy, and the progress of science and useful arts. The word science is in the U.S. Constitution.
Guess what? We even have a graphic made so that the people at home can read that small print, so you can read it again.
But I mention it because these guys in 1787 realized the value of science for our health, our welfare, and our international competitiveness. It's not a new idea. And so to set science aside is not in anyone's best interest. And so I spent the morning on Capitol Hill in Lindsey Graham's office, Ted Cruz's office, and then Adam Schiff's office. So these are two very conservative guys, one very progressive guy, and everybody shares the idea that NASA is the best brand the United States has.
Which is not really, right now, that's not, it's better than Boeing, but you know, it's not really the thing. And the founding fathers weren't thinking of climate change. They were thinking of science, as you do. But you bring everything back. Everything can't be climate change. Yes, I know he's an engineer. He's not a scientist. But still, it is... I think it drives a lot of people crazy. And I'm not one of these people that say, well, we don't have any impact on the climate. Of course we do. We're human beings, for God's sakes. But nature's always done nature things. When hasn't it? And the problem with stuff like this is, just like with the vaccines, the minute it becomes political in the fractured society that we have, with everybody having a microphone, if you will, on the internet, and for some people, a bullhorn, you're not going to get anything done because it's going to be about scoring points. It's going to be about winning the moment for the tribe. It's not going to be about like, well, what can we do to make things? Nobody wants, what's the old saying? You don't crap or you eat. So we need to take better care of our world. There's no doubt about it. There isn't. And if you ask any politicians, they want clean water, they want clean air, but they don't want to hamstring us. And why are we the only ones who always have to follow the rules when the rest of the emerging world is not? And that's because everybody tries to guilt America into being, well, you guys are a Western society, everything is good, you got all the money in the world, so you guys will just have to deal with whatever's happening and pay the price for it. Go look at the Paris Climate Accords. Well, China and India, they signed it. But if you look at the fine print, which is the only thing that matters, you know what it says? They won't stop until they get to a certain point when it comes to their energy. Then they'll reduce. And they're nowhere near there. And to think that they were going to stop when they get there. Like India's going to go, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. You know, half of our country doesn't have electricity, but we'll stop for you guys. Because Greta wants us to. Speaking of climate change, I was talking to Chris about this. This is awful. Every year, we talked about it the other day with Ken. He did a story about it. Yes, Ken will be back tomorrow. The insanity of people and what were you thinking moment when it comes to kids' summer cars.
It's a crisis. A Good Samaritan calls 911.
There are two children in a car by themselves, small kids crying. The windows are cracked. They're locked in the car.
She stays on the phone and tries to comfort the frightened children.
Hi, honey. It's okay. Hey, you're okay.
When cops get there, they pop open the glass to get in and unlock the car.
Hey, kitties. Hey.
Cobb County Police in Georgia say the kids, ages 1 and 2, were left in the car for over 40 minutes.
Hey.
What are you doing?
Okay, baby. It's okay. Oh, you're hot.
The temperature inside reached a sweltering 117 degrees.
It's okay.
The father was arrested and charged with second-degree cruelty to children. He was released on just over $11,000 bond.
Just, what are you doing? So you go into a place, and, you know, and Chris said the kids weren't even in car seats. So you go into a place, you have a hot, hot day. You don't even roll the windows down. You have the windows up. Like you're worried about somebody, kidnapping your kids, but you're not worried about your kids dying? That's insane. That is absolutely insane. And every year, we have to have the thing again. They have to run commercials. They have to do all of these things because every year, people are idiots. They are. And this isn't somebody like your grandmother takes a child. I could watch it, but you need to find out later on she's got dementia and she leaves the child because they don't know. This isn't that. My mom left my little sister at the store. What are you going to do? Not the store, I mean the side of the road. It was hilarious. We started driving down. So my little sister, she was maybe a month old, if that. We were going to go to the supermarket, and my mom got me in her it was like a 65 Mustang. And my sister Amber was in a car seat. And my mom had her there, like, the little thing that you carry around. Because they didn't really have car seats like that. It's just they strap you in. And we started driving off. We got down the street. I go, Mom, what are you going to do with Amber? And she's like, what do you mean? I go, where is she? And she goes, oh, my God. And she was just sitting in front of our yard. It was hilarious. I'm like, Mom doesn't like you. I told her that all her life. That's why she's crazy. People chiming in about Bill Nye. We've never done anything. We can't hurt the planet. We human beings do not have the slightest bit of impact. Come on. Yes, we can have an impact. It's how big is the impact? That's the issue. How big is it? But we're not going to have an impact that is going to destroy the planet. That when the planet wants to destroy itself or get rid of us, it will shake us off. It hasn't happened yet. It isn't. By the way, today is, Bell, this is the day. Shortest day.
What? Of the year?
Shortest day. It's not only shortest day of the year. It's like, and we're talking about an amazing, if you guys aren't paying attention, the Earth is spinning faster than ever before. And if we were correct, yes, what is it, 1/15 of a millisecond?
Yeah.
It's going to be shorter today. It's going backwards. That's how fast we're spinning. 1/15 of a millisecond. You guys might not notice it, but if you look, you can kind of see it.
Yeah, if you squint really hard and stand really still.
Very still. Because if you're moving, you're not going to see it. You got to you got to cock your head a little bit to the left, and then you can see it. Coming up, Carnival Cruises. I don't know if you're aware of this. Racism. Yeah. I know, right? I know. Don't look at me. That's what I heard. That's what they're being accused of. We will talk about it, if it's true or not. Straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com/Chad. Go there, get your Jumpstart Tri-Bag of Rough Greens, and watch what it does for your dog. It is a supplement, powder form. Dr. Dennis Black, the naturopathic doctor who formulated this, put this together, and it's one scoop on top of your dog's food a day. You don't have to change anything with your dog's food, and watch what happens. When their digestive tract is strong, their life is so much better. It helps in every single way, and this is going to help your dog. It's helped my dogs in so many ways, and I know it'll help yours. It's a $20 value. You get it for free. All they ask you to do is cover the cost of shipping. It's a few bucks. And remember, when you get it, just one scoop, that's it. You don't have to change anything with your dog's food. You have to buy anything extra. You have to cook anything. Just the same food with this on top of it. With probiotics and the live enzymes. It's amazing. ruffgreens.com/Chad. Ruffgreens.com/Chad. Get yours now. Ruffgreens.com/Chad.
Jesus came to earth the first time to save the world. The next time he comes will be to condemn the world and those who have refused to accept him as their Lord and Savior. Christians are co-heirs with Christ and possess full rights as sons and inherit salvation, eternal life, the earth, the kingdom of God, and all things. If you're not a Christian and have wondered about eternal life, God may be drawing you. Accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, for only God can save you.
No matter what I've ever done.
No matter what I've ever done.
No matter what you've ever done.
But what about?
No matter what you've ever done.
Even if?
You are no longer condemned, no matter what you have ever done. Non-cancelable, guaranteed reservation in heaven when you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Learn how now.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
More tariff letters from the president and an Amazon nightmare. We'll have those stories for you at 1 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Is it racism when it comes to Carnival Cruise Lines? Because, well, they're doing things and people of color feel like it's aimed at them.
Carnival does not have to worry about me. They do not have to worry about me. We got the message loud and clear. We are not your demographic anymore. So, y'all, I was supposed to be going on a Carnival cruise. So, one of my friends is turning 30, and he's never been on a cruise. He doesn't have a passport, so do not suggest flying somewhere. So, he's never been on a cruise, and he was like, it's my dirty 30. I want to be on a turned-up ship. He'd be seeing all the videos of Carnival. He was like, I want to do that because I'm trying to be lit for my birthday, right?
As you do. I mean, you're trying to be lit for your birthday. You don't want to not be lit, especially on your 30. You're dirty 30.
Well, Carnival has decided they want to rebrand. They don't want to be known as the turn-up cruise no more, the budget-friendly cruise no more. They want to be, I don't know, I guess they want to be royal. Even though when people book Carnival, they know what they are booking. They know they are booking a turn-up cruise, period. Everybody on there is looking to have a good time, party, and have fun. We know what type of people are on there. Like, everybody on there, it's just Carnival cruises are so much fun. Like, everybody is just a vibe, right? And it's like anywhere there's going to be like alcohol, things might get a little rowdy. That just comes with the territory of people being drunk. It has nothing to do with, like, you know, being black, being this, the music. But these people done banned the fans. They saying no more hip hop music. So child, that was the whole purpose of us going. So now we are not going back to the drawing board because no ma'am.
No ma'am.
How do you call it a carnival if it's not off the chain?
I don't know. So what have they done? Okay, so they did ban Bluetooth speakers last year. They also have a 1 a.m. curfew for people under the age of 18. And if you're over 18, but you're not to, I don't know what it is. They're trying, like, at different ships, they're trying to get it so it's not so turned up everywhere. They didn't ban hip hop, but the fan thing that she talked about in the wobble line dance, they don't want that going on inside the clubs, right? Because you want to party in the club, because there's been fights and things of that nature. The wobble is not banned. Have you wobbled yet?
I wobble every weekend.
I do too. Sometimes, especially if I play too much pickleball or something, I'm wobbling, right? It's different because of that. They expanded its nightclub theme nights. They still play hip-hop and a variety of other genres, they say. But it took off from there. And I know several of you guys, it's black fatigue. And I've seen even people who are black say it's the fatigue of, there's been fights, there's been all kinds. I've been on a Carnival 3-day cruise. I've been on a couple of them. I told my wife it was insane. Went down to Mexico. She goes, what was it like? I said, it was like being on a Smash Mouth concert, but it was floating. So it was like a Smash Mouth concert at the fair, but it was floating. And that's the best way to describe it. A lot of people smoking cigarettes and a lot of vomiting. So they want to raise the level, I think, of clientele. That's what they're trying to do. It's what they're trying to. It's not racism. You know, when people say, hey, you know what? We're going to ask people to wear a shirt with a collar. That doesn't mean they're racist. When I was, it's interesting. When I moved to England, I thought it was England, right? I saw all the great clubs and stuff. We're going to go out. Outside of London, you have to dress up to go to like a nightclub. I had to wear collared shirts and a jacket. And now in London, it was just, but it was so bizarre. I never thought, ooh, it's because of, they hate Americans and stuff. But just because somebody wants to change the perception of the ship of it's becoming a place where people come and it gets violent and crazy, doesn't mean it's racism. Because yes, white people can get crazy, as we know. Like I said, it was like being on a Smash Mouth 3-day floating concert. Coming up, hour number 2. Have some fun with our one-hit wonder Wednesday. We got White Woman Wednesday as well. If you're missing the show, shame on you. Grab the podcast. Apparently, we're on Rumble now. We're on Twitch. We're on X. And we're on YouTube. This is the Jeff Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
Good afternoon. It's 1 p.m. and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We've got a weather forecast and we'll give it to you here in just a few minutes. More tariff letters from President Trump to U.S. trade partners. ABC's Karen Travers has the latest.
President Trump posted on social media letters he sent to the leaders of Algeria, Brunei, Iraq, Libya, Moldova, and the Philippines, informing them of the tariff rates that will go into effect on August 1st for goods imported from those countries into the U.S. The president extended his pause on tariffs. They were set to go into effect today, but now that new deadline is August 1st, as the administration continues talks with trade partners. The president said Tuesday he considers negotiations to be too time-consuming at this point.
A letter means a deal. A lot of people said, we got 200 countries. We can't meet with 200 countries.
The Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, they report statistics after participating in what they called Operation Dry Water throughout the July 4th holiday weekend. According to the agency, there was a single death, 3 injury incidents, 24 alcohol-related boating under the influence arrests, a public intoxication arrest, and a warrant arrest. Several written and verbal warnings were also issued mostly due to marine events and compliance issues. The agency also assisted in the recovery of a drowning victim. A Northern California woman, she's got a problem. Amazon returns keep getting dropped off on her front doorstep, and they won't stop. Here's ABC's Alex Stone.
It's an Amazon nightmare. Hundreds of oversized boxes keep appearing on a front doorstep in San Jose. A woman who only wants to be known as Kay says a Chinese shipper of faux leather car seats put her home as a return address for those who are sending the seats back.
It started with one package, and
I was like, it's got my address, but it's not for me.
It's been so bad, the boxes have been covering her front doorway.
Couldn't even get my mother in the house.
Kay says she's contacted Amazon countless times, but the return packages just keep coming. Amazon is vowing to take care of the problem and even paid to remove the boxes from her house.
That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
$119 dead, 160 plus missing. It's now a recovery more than it is anything else. I'm not saying there isn't a chance that there's a miracle out there, but that would be, I mean, because you're talking about the water's receded in a lot of the areas. So unless you're pinned by something, they would have found you by now, or you could have hiked out of the area to some sort of safety. I have a feeling this is going to be several days of looking for bodies, which is, it's awful. And of course, what does that do? It's about politics, baby. It is. I was flipping around early this morning because I got up extra early, and for whatever reason, I don't know why today was extra early. And I'm watching like a replay of Chris Cuomo going off on the insanity of politics and how this is, taken over. You got Schumer, right? And Fang's boyfriend, Swalwell. Yeah, we got to have some sort of investigation. Got to have some sort of investigation. This is it. Because it's all Trump's fault, right? Between climate change and immigration, because the way he's getting people out of the country is probably causing an unbalance, which is causing more rain. Whatever BS they're going to come up with. But people do this because they want to score points. That's what politics, it's so performative. It's like the TSA. It's all performative. It is. It's all performative. And same thing here. People go out there and say the craziest, wackiest things because you're going to talk about it, but it's not meant to actually fix the potential problem.
show. Now I don't want them. Accurate weather forecasting helps avoid fatal disasters. That's what you say? There are consequences to attacking meteorologists? You really believe that that's what this was about? You really think that's what your constituents want? For you to take a cheap shot at dead kids to score points against Trump? Wow. And guess what? The Union for the National Weather Service, and they've been critical of Trump's cuts, and I'm not saying there's not reason for criticism, but it's about perspective. The union says there was adequate staff at the time in Texas, and meteorologists are not faulting the National Weather Service. They're noting that they began to escalate the flood warnings as much as 12 hours in advance of the floods. So shut up, Murphy. We have to see that the interests of the many are being held hostage by the obsessions of the few on both sides. They are killing us.
And they're fine with that because did I get likes? Did I get clicks? Did I raise money? Did I show the world that I could stand up to Donald Trump and the administration? Did I show the world? You can't just come out and go, hey, this is horrific, and I'm not here to play politics. What does Texas need? If it's just prayers, we can give prayers. If they need us to, convene in some way, shape, or form, get them anything they need, let's do that as fast as possible because that's what we do for fellow Americans in a time like this, in a tragedy. Not, we need to investigate Donald Trump because the people that he fired who aren't fired yet and are still working, those people weren't paying attention. No, we're starting to find out what kind of happened. And yeah, people want answers. They want answers. If your mom died, your brother died, your kid died, yeah, eventually you're going to want some sort of answer. You're going to want some sort of, hey, what do you think happened? Where did this thing go wrong? That's the Monday morning quarterback we joke about. But what happens on Monday after a football game? What do? They all go in, they look at film, what we got right, what we got wrong, what we can fix. And then you go about putting in a game plan. Well, we're starting to get kind of an idea of what went wrong. And it wasn't because Donald Trump is a meanie. Right? No, you think it is Bell? Bell's like, absolutely it is, 100%.
He's just hardcore hater.
Well, haters are going to hate, right? Haters are going to hate. It's ridiculous. Or maybe it was a piss poor way that these things were put together in the way that they thought about how do they fix the problem that may arise that has arisen before. Well, their idea was kick the can down the road and hope and pray it doesn't happen. You have one job. This is the gig, man. This is the job, right? There ain't no other job that will ever be this important. Did you push a button? I can't remember. That was it. There was no other gig. You didn't have another gig. It wasn't like afterwards, you got to go out and do stuff. You failed by all accounts of this. And I know you're going to do everything you can to get to the bottom of this, et cetera, et cetera. That isn't going to make people feel good about this. If you did everything you could and nature did what nature does, you can't, there's nothing you can do. In some things in life, there's nothing you can do. But there's no doubt that it seems like it's more of a local issue, and they pushed things off. That's the other side of this. We talked about it yesterday. Why can't they have, I don't know, a warning system? How is it that this hasn't been implemented? Yeah, you should be. You should be. And their warning system? Where was it? Well, they've been talking about it for a while, and they did nothing. They gave a company $78,000 earlier this year. Obviously, they didn't have time to implement anything. It's not that hard. They were worried about noise more than anything else. The plan they had. Now, I want you guys to think about this, right? So we got Jay in that room. We got Ken. Ken's not. That's Jay. Wave to me. We've got Bell and we got me. So the way it worked is if I'm Camp A and the water starts rushing up, I'm supposed to pick up a phone. And chances are, because remember, a lot of these counselors and kids, this is one of the other things that we're learning about. You're supposed to surrender your phone. This is about getting away from the technology, being out and having fun. So I go to the phone as the water starts to rise late at night, and it's probably a rotary phone. And then I call Bell as I'm floating away and say, Bell, guess what? There's a big AF storm that's hit us. You should probably do something about it. Then Bell is supposed to then call on to what would be Jay in the other room, Jay's camp, and say it's coming. That was their plan. And that plan, kids, failed. And people lost their lives. And I think it's going to be, I think when all's said and done, it's going to be over 300 people. That's a big thing. You think about a little community like that, 300 people. And the camp, everybody's like, well, what about the camp? The camp just got a clean bill of health like a couple weeks ago. But their job isn't to implement. Their job is to do safety. And they did. You know, we talk about the kids that are lost. There was over 600 kids there. They got a lot of them out. And a lot of the kids got a lot of themselves out, which was amazing. But their job was to give the safety of, hey, here, in case stuff happens, this is what we're supposed to do. This is where you're supposed to go, just like if you're on an airplane, things of that nature. And alas, here we are. But the thought of turning this into all about politics so you can score points against Donald Trump as if that's some sort of awesome reward is just stupid. And it shows that you care more about the making the tribe happy than anything else, which is sickening. Speaking of sickening, as the attacks ramp up, I want you guys to listen to this. This is out of San Antonio, not too far away from there, but this has nothing to do with what just took place in Kerrville. This is how crazy we have gotten when it comes to ICE and politics and immigration. This is sickening from a person who's running for a council position.
And I want to show you this. This was in San Antonio, Texas, where a challenger for a District 1 council called for the killing of ICE agents in Los Angeles. You won't even believe this. This is Matthew Guana. And he posted the comment here on X in response to DHS agents arresting illegals in LA. He says, and they will get shot by the Los Angeles public. I want to see a few dead ICE agents, Los Angeles. Don't let me down. Can you believe that? So Assistant Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, Tricia McLaughlin, reposted the comment here on X, writing this. San Antonio City Council candidate calls for the killing of ICE law enforcement officers in Los Angeles. Depraved. We'll see you soon. There he is right there. Meantime, Axios is reporting that town halls and one-on-one meetings, constituents, they want lawmakers to break the law. They want them to get tough. They want them to fight dirty and not be afraid to get hurt. In fact, they want them to get shot for the anti-Trump resistance. They want blood, is what they're saying.
So now it's not even about scoring points. Right? So it's not even about like, hey, let's score some points. Man, it's going to be great. I'm going to go online. I'm going to say something really inflammatory. It's going to be crazy. People are going to cheer me on. Now, to really show you're part of the team, we want you to go out and get shot. So you can say, man, that guy's super resisting. Did you see the way he got shot? That is super resisting. I've never seen anybody resist we much. Remember that? Did you ever hear that? You never heard Al Sharpton say, resist we much we resist? Oh, I'll pull it. It's the greatest thing.
All I can remember about Al is him getting convicted and then he couldn't spell respect.
Well, you know how it goes.
R-E-S-P-I-C-T.
I just remembered one day he was 80 pounds. And I'm like, when did that happen? Remember how big he used to be? And then one day, 80 pounds.
Started doing Atkins.
That's the way it works. What are we doing? You know, I heard the mayor of Chicago saying, we will not cooperate. When you do stuff like that, do you think it works better? And you say, I'm here to help X, Y, and Z. I want to help these people, these immigrant communities, people, you know, the left calls them, you know, whatever they want to call them, immigrant communities, non-documented, you know, unicorn chasers, whatever they want to call them. The rights, they're illegal aliens, whatever they. When you go and you resist the way that you do in such a way, you're not interested in helping those people. You're not. You're interested in making points for yourself. That's it. I'm not going to help ICE. ICE isn't asking you out to arrest anybody. All they're saying is, hey, you got a murderer in there, wanted in a different country, somebody who's wanted to be deported because he's gone through 3 or 4 different hearings and they've told him he's got to go. Could you hold him for us?
Murder's not a crime, Chad.
It's not. It's unaliving. That's what you got to say on the internet. Unaliving. Have you seen that? Those are the things. It's unaliving. Okay? So when you do that, you build up animosity. And that's what they want. And now they want people to go out and get shot, go out and get hurt, go out and fight so they can get some sort of red badge of courage. Oh, that's what it's all about, kids. The red badge of courage. You see what I'm resisting, Belle. So freaking resisting. You can't stop me. Coming up. It's Wednesday. We do One Hit Wonder Wednesday. You're saying, what is that, Chad? I will explain it to you in a minute, but it's a lot of fun. We don't just do politics stuff. We do pop culture. We do life stuff. And it also makes us laugh that we can have this great one-hit wonder. And we got a doozy for you today. We do. So we'll be doing that straight ahead. If you miss any of the show, shame on you. Shame, double shame, triple shame. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. Birch gold. Why birch gold? Simple. Precious metals. You've seen 40% gold's jumped in the last year. The dollar getting kind of beat on for a little bit. And the chance for the BRICS nations to try to get away from the dollar is, well, they're pushing hard for that, especially as they meet. So why not precious metals? So if you have an IRA or 401k, you can get it backed by precious metals. Maybe you want the physical in your hands. You can get that as well. Maybe you got a savings account. You like to move it over and put it into an IRA. You can do all of those things. But the number one thing is getting the information you need to make the right decision for you and your family. Text the word Benson to 989898 today for Birch Gold. They'll get you at the info kit. Not going to cost you anything. A little bit of time to take a look through it. There's no hard sale or any crazy pressure like that. They want to arm you with the right information to make the right decision for you. No matter what it is, I trust them when it comes to precious metals. They've been in business for a very long time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Check them out. Text the word Benson now to 989898 today for Birch Gold.
Some in Congress are now calling for more Russian sanctions. And the AI platform Grok on X generating anti-Semitic posts? Well, we'll have those stories at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
But resist we much. We must and we will much about that be committed.
What's funny?
Oh, one more
Make
time.
perfect sense.
But resist we much.
Absolutely.
We must
100%.
and we will much about that be committed.
That's Ron Burgundy right there. You put it on the teleprompter, he's going to read it.
He said a lot of those. That the struggle was real, kids, is what we're trying to tell you. The struggle was real. It is Wednesday. We have a lot of fun on Wednesdays because we have fun every day. It's kind of what we do. Yesterday, people were like, what were you talking about? What'd you do on your show today? I said, if I told you guys, you'd say, we talked about mayonnaise. Talked a lot about mayonnaise yesterday.
A whole lot. And Miracle Whip and
Miracle
Cool Whip.
And Cool Whip and all the whips. But today, it's One Hit Wonder Wednesday. This is where we look at an artist, a song that captured a moment in time. It may be ever brief, but it was something. And we look back and every time we hear it, we turn it up. We know what it is. From the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even today, we find those charming one-hit wonders that, well, they were amazing. Song, the artist, the perfect time, whoof. Like that, they were gone. But when they were here, whoa, One Hit Wonder Wednesday.
Now it's time for another edition of One Hit Wonder Wednesday. You may not remember the name of the band, but you definitely know the song.
Sugar, baby.
This is One Hit Wonder Wednesday.
Today, go back to the year 1982. I was a wee lad, 11 years old. And I remember when this song came out. It was weird, but the video was cool. There wasn't a lot of videos. If you go back and look at the early years of MTV, there was like 8 videos. And the videos made no sense.
And it was almost all English artists because they were the only ones making videos.
And you know, it's Duran Duran. I remember them talking about. They had no idea. Like they would just they look like models. They'd have them walking around with wind blowing in their hair. It made no sense. This one, oddly enough, made sense. He was born in 1955, and his name was Taco Okashir. He was born in Jakarta, moved to Hamburg, and eventually settled in Holland. He got rid of his last name and went by the name Taco. And Taco had a hit that makes all of us smile. There was an Irving Berlin song in 1927 that he took and discoed/Englished it up, made a video that was so unique. It was such a trip. RCA Germany didn't even want to release it. They said, it's stupid. There's no way this thing will ever be a hit. But they stood by it.
Plus, everybody in America is going to think that he named himself after a Mexican sandwich.
Yeah, and that's not. His real name is Taco. It got to number 4 here, but it sold millions of albums. It was number 1 all over the globe, and every time you hear it, you go, oh, yeah. $1 million trooper, trying hard to look like Gary Cooper. So the song was a smash hit. When they did the video, though, they had people in blackface, and MTV said they wouldn't play it, so they had to go back and redo it. And again, it's a trip. The whole song was a trip. And he tried, it was all cabaret and camp. but it has been hundreds of shows. He still tours all over, just essentially doing the one song that he does. He did a Singing in the Rain, but it never had the same kind of feel and oomph that this did. And I love this song. The video was awesome too, because he's in the tuxedo and dancing around with his, he's got the cane and he's pointing. It was a trip. And Taco let it all out. Taco is your one-hit wonder on this Wednesday. Oh, yeah, baby. Coming up. Never heard this song. I was born in 1992. That's awesome. Love me some Taco. Putting on the Ritz. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Needs more sour cream.
Needs more sour cream. Everybody's like, what about Rock Me Amadeus? Oh, yeah, we got a lot. Do you realize I get so many people who send me, oh, do this song next. Do this song. I love the uniqueness behind all of these things and these stories about, there is a band, too, that was out of Indonesia. If you go and look at them, I'll find them. They were doing things that Chuck Berry and the likes of Hendrix was doing 10 years before. You would have sworn it was a European band that had come out of nowhere. There was a lot of Indonesians went over there, but Taco is the most famous of all when it comes to that. And he had his one hit and his fame. And I saw him the other day talking about the fact that he loves doing it. He doesn't shy away from it. Taco, your one-hit wonder on this Wednesday. Coming up, a lot of stuff still to get to. This lady, because it's White Woman Wednesday, going off about all the things that may happen to her Medicaid. And all of the things is just hilarious. It's sad, but it's also hilarious. Talk a bit about that. A bunch of other things on the way. Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Good afternoon. It's 1:30. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A full forecast is on the way. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal says the Senate Russia sanctions bill that he co-wrote with Republican Senator Lindsey Graham in response to Russia President Vladimir Putin's continued attacks on Ukraine will have a huge impact on Russia.
He better get ready because his economy, already on its heels, is going to be hit hard by these sanctions that I anticipate we will adopt very soon in the United States Senate.
Senator Graham, co-author of the bill, says the legislation will be on the president's desk before the Senate leaves for their summer recess on August 4th. Grok, the AI chatbot that's integrated into Elon Musk's social network X, has recently been making anti-Semitic posts on the platform. Here's ABC's Mike Dubusky.
In posts that have since been deleted, Grok called itself Mecha Hitler and praised the Nazi leader. XAI, the artificial intelligence firm that created Grok, said it's working to remove the inappropriate posts. It comes after the company made an update to Grok over the weekend that has since been rolled back. CEO Elon Musk last month said the company is working to make the chatbot more politically incorrect.
The White House doctor for former President Joe Biden has pleaded the fifth today during a House Oversight Committee hearing. The Republican-led committee has launched a formal investigation on Biden's health while he was president, and committee chair James Comer says he's disappointed in Dr. Kevin O'Connor's actions.
This was an opportunity for Dr. O'Connor to defend his reputation, to defend his work, and he chose to take the fifth.
Democratic Representative Jasmine Crockett of Texas, she sits on the committee, and she says the doctor was right, in her opinion, to not break patient confidentiality. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
afternoon. Daytime heating showers and thunderstorms still very much hit and miss throughout the day, but gusty winds, heavier downpours remain possible with any thunderstorm through our Thursday.
Beacon Capital Management, your retirement ready toolkit. X's and O's, dollars and cents. They're important. You don't want to outlive your retirement. But you also have to recognize retirement is just not about sitting around counting all your money. It's about living, and a lot of stuff goes on. So that's why you need a full-service investment advisor, and that's what Beacon offers you. The opportunity to not have to worry about things like estate planning, tax planning, healthcare, all of those things. You can let Beacon happen as a partner with you. So right now I want you to do this. Call them, 615-488-9303, 615-488-9303, and they'll get you out a retirement-ready toolkit. Money Enough for Lifebook, retirement planning checklist, and a maximizing retirement income white paper. No cost, no obligation, absolutely no pressure. Find out what they can do for you when it comes to your retirement all around, or maybe just in a few parts. And they're local. So you can sit down, break bread with them. Call them today, 615-488-9303, or online at askbeaconnow.com. We're going to have John Rose on tomorrow, 1 p.m. It's going to be interesting. I was talking to his guy yesterday, and I'm excited about it. I'm like, I hope he's fine with talking about mayonnaise, because that's pretty much that's all our show's about is mayonnaise. Condiments. Tomorrow is Ketchup Thursday. So 1 o'clock tomorrow. When are we going to, we got to have a day for relish. That'd be Friday. Friday is a bring your all mustard, relish, any of the condiments that you might,
Sriracha sauce, we got to have a day for that.
Sriracha sauce. Sriracha feels like it should have its own day.
Yes.
Right? Because it became such a huge deal.
Absolutely.
I remember driving by out in California, because it's out in Southern California, they have the plant, and woo! You can smell it. You can smell it. Those damn kids, I'll tell you what. My kids, they put it on everything.
Because it goes on everything.
Yeah, I just look at them. I was like, you guys do realize that's not a personality. Sriracha's a personality. It's not. It's not a personality. So, White Woman Wednesday, too. We have a lot of fun with this. This is a lady who is upset because, Trump's taking everything in the world away from from them, and she's going to explain to everybody why this is going to destroy her world, which is... Remember what all of these bills are supposed to do with this bills. Well, the bill with all these little bills inside of it. 18 to 64 able-bodied individuals who aren't caretakers. Those guys. This is who is supposed to affect. If you are any of those other things, if you're a child, you're not losing anything. Okay?
My whole house is on Medicaid. My husband, me, our baby daughter. Okay, we're all on Medicaid. Without Medicaid, I wouldn't be able to have the birth control in my arm that I have. Without Medicaid, I wouldn't be able to have the antidepressants that I have at no cost to me. Without Medicaid, I wouldn't be able to go to therapy to continue to be the mom I am to the 3 kids and 2 separate houses that I have to do.
Well, first of all, I'm glad you got the birth control. That's a good start right there. Secondly, it's good that you're talking about your mental health. We can all agree on that.
I just love the entitlement attitude, though. There's just this whole sense of, you guys should be paying for my stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, right? It would be nice if somebody goes, look, you know what? I've gone through some hard times, and all the taxpayers out there, you guys have helped me, by paying your taxes. And through that, I was able to get myself on my feet, and I'm trying to do my best. And instead, it's, you owe me, and this is what I deserve, et cetera, et cetera.
Without Medicaid, my daughter wouldn't be able to go and get her vaccines and go and get all of the things that she needs as an 18-month-old baby. Without Medicaid, my husband wouldn't be able to go and get the medications that he needs and the treatment that he needs for his disability. Without Medicaid, not a single person in my house would have health care. We are low income. Our only income is my husband's SSI. We're on food stamps. We use food pantries. Okay? Without Medicaid...
And by the way, if all of these things are to be true, which I don't know you, so, and I've heard stories that maybe the internet has people that tell lies, but I'm not saying that's you. What I am saying, though, is in this situation here, this is who it's supposed to, you're a mother who's struggling, he's disabled, you're not supposed to lose anything. You're not. And what you've done is you've listened to people say, you're going to lose all of this. You're going to be homeless. You're going to get no food. All of those things are going to happen, including kicking your children off any of the things they're on and your husband. So, but this is the entitlement in the without this, without that. And there's plenty from this lady. There's so many videos.
We would never be healthy. And for us, it's not even like body, it's all mental. For my husband, for me, and then we have a baby who needs Medicaid for vaccines, who needs Medicaid for... I already have 2 children who are diagnosed with autism, so what if she ends up getting diagnosed with autism? We need Medicaid. We need Medicaid. And if you live in America, everybody deserves free health care. That's it. I just love you. Have a good day.
There is no free.
There's no free.
And also, those kids do not have autism. They just don't want to talk to her.
Yeah, no doubt. They're probably, somebody said, I bet she has a 70-inch TV. Well, he probably does. She doesn't. Without Medicaid, so if you were all of those things, if you've got kids who are diagnosed with really autistic, you want to, my 16-year-old, she's got autism. It's not she's got it for real. My little brother who is here, if you guys were to see how medicated he just left yesterday, we had to get him on a daily basis because he has got serious issues, special needs, because my sister was a crackhead when she had him. He was born with so many drugs, fetal alcohol syndrome, all of these things. They have serious issues. Not everybody's autistic. The problem with like much with the rainbow of the pride, they've made the autism scale much bigger. Right? I'm neurodivergent. I had ADHD. I was hyper. I still am. If you guys watch me on here, I tell them I wish I could stand up during the show because that's what I like to do. I move around, I bounce around.
And, of course, being entitled like you are, you come in every week and tell me to give you the money that you need to buy your ADHD drugs.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. This is 100% what I do. And if not, punch him in the grundle. But it's that entitlement that doesn't help people. When you were sitting here going, I look at somebody and I see people that are mentally, they need help. That's what these safety services are for, the safety nets. It's not for people sitting around doing something. And if you don't get the message right, and I've said it, look, the big, beautiful bill is fat. There's a lot of crap in there we don't need. I'm not thrilled by a lot of it, but it is what it is, and we'll see what it looks like. But you better learn how to sell it to the people, because there are going to be people that lose it who shouldn't, and that's going to be frustrating. And you better bet your candy ass they're going to be out there every day selling it to the world that this is what's going to happen. But if you keep throwing it out there saying, look, this guy's 24, lives at home, right, or 28, can be working and decides not to, you're pointing that out. Now, if you have 8 jobs and you don't have health care, it's so damn expensive, that's an issue. And I think that's where a lot of this issue is going to come with Obamacare and some of the stuff where people are going to be working sometimes 2 or 3 jobs and they're not going to have health care because it's so expensive. And trust me, it is ridiculously expensive. I mean, crazy expensive in some places. I mean, I will, and I told you guys this when I first started here. When I came out here, and we got health coverage through Cumulus, which is amazing. The amount I was paying was, I could have had a $700,000 home. That was our insurance. It's crazy. It is crazy. That's how. So yes, it's expensive, but never once did I say I deserve it. You owe it to me. Speaking of owing it to you and free stuff, the left they don't know how to talk to men. We've already established that. They're not good at messaging. We already established that. Now they've got a big problem in New York City because the guy that's probably going to end up being mayor, they don't know how to talk about him and they want to ignore him because he scares the bejeeminy cricket out of everybody.
Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic nominee for mayor in New York City. CNN has new reporting that some progressives who empowered Mamdani to victory now want to primary you and other Democrats in New York City. The co-chair of the New York City's Democratic Socialists of America says he thinks you're picking fights, quote, with the left instead of focusing on fighting the right. His words. Asked whether Mamdani thinks those House incumbent challenges should happen, his press secretary told CNN he was declining to comment, at least for now. How do you respond?
I have no idea what these people are talking about. We are going to continue to focus our efforts as we did on the House floor in connection with Donald Trump's one big ugly bill on pushing back against the extremism that has been unleashed on the American people. It's clear to us as House Democrats, it's clear to us as members of the New York City delegation that the problem is Donald Trump and House Republicans who have launched this unprecedented assault on the American way of life, an assault on health care. They're ripping food out of the mouths of children, veterans, and seniors. They're exploding the national debt. They're unleashing mass agents on law-abiding immigrant communities. It shouldn't be too difficult for some people to figure out who the problem is in the United States of America.
Translation, I don't want to talk about the guy. Let me tell you why Trump's bad. Why? Because you just know how to message around him. Because he scares you guys more than he scares the right. He's got energy behind him. And not even it'll be different when it gets into the general population because there's going to be more stuff that comes out about this guy. But it is hilarious to watch them dance around this guy because he's young, he's got energy, he is not part of an establishment, and and some of you guys might not understand this, a lot of the stuff he talked about when it came to the economy was a lot of it was out of Trump's playbook. Middle class, can't afford stuff, really hammered that part. The rich get richer, et cetera, et cetera. Unfortunately, Trump and his big, beautiful bill, well, the rich got even richer there. But this is it, to watch them walk around this guy, and now that they feel they have, I hope they primary all of them with uber progressive wackadoos. Because, and here's the thing, this guy may run away with it in New York City. I mean, people say it's impossible. It's not. All you have to do is go and see Bill de Blasio. They say, oh, he can't win. That guy was uber progressive and a wackadoo and awful at his job.
I still remember the first article I read about him where he said with pride that he firmly believes in the heavy hand of government.
Yeah.
And I just, as soon as I saw that, it's like, we're cooked.
We're cooked, you know? I mean, if they're going to get that more and more every single day, then let them. But if, this is one thing about the middle class. When I looked at this big, beautiful bill, should have been more geared for the middle class. You should put a lot more stuff in there that benefits them and everybody as the average American. Absolutely 100%. Because the left, if they were smart, would figure out how to turn this even more into a class warfare without being insane and have some common sense ideas. Luckily, it's the left, and they're useless, and they spent $20 million trying to figure out how to talk to men, and they still don't know how to do it. Coming up, more fun stuff. We didn't do naked bowling yesterday, did we? We got to do naked bowling.
No, we did not.
No, we'll do naked bowling next hour because it deserves all the fun out there. It does. We got some of your text messages as well. If you miss any of the show, we say shame on you. Grab the podcast. And now we're on
Rumble.
So rumble over there if you want to. We're also on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and soon to be on carrier pigeons. We're just going to put little TVs on them, fly them around. You can see us doing all of our stuff.
Chad, carrier pigeons are extinct.
Yes, you think. They're not. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. All right, guys. Rough Greens. It's awesome for your dogs. My little dogs is good. Why? Because of Rough Greens. I give them Rough Greens since they came home as little pups. And we've never changed their food. It's the beauty of Rough Greens. It's a supplement. We all have supplements. I take supplements. And my wife's like, I take supplements. It's good for them. It's going to add to your dog's food. Dog food is dead food. You want your dogs to be happy and healthy. And it starts with things like probiotics and enzymes, living things that are going to help your dog's food that is dead food come to life. And it's going to help them with their digestive tract, their skin, their fur, and so many things. I want you to try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens today. All they ask you to do is cover shipping. It's a few bucks. They send it out to you. And when you get it, you don't have to change your dog's food. One scoop, and away you go. And here's the beauty of it. Make sure you seal it up because remember, it's live enzymes and probiotics in it. You don't want it to become stale. Watch how much they love it and watch what it does for them. You're going to see a marked improvement in a matter of weeks. Try Jumpstart Trial Bag now. ruffgreens.com/chat. ruffgreens.com/chat.
President Trump meeting with leaders of various African nations today. No deal yet in Gaza, and a program to help cancel subscriptions is getting canceled. We'll have those stories at 2 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Probably not meeting on a Carnival Cruise line. Several of you chiming in about some of the stuff we've talked about earlier. It was Ray that said, the rich got richer, huh? Are you a Democrat? Yes, totally. No. I care about the middle class. I care about all Americans. Isn't that, I mean, it's, the tax cuts are going to significantly benefit the upper. That's the reality. It has nothing to do with Democrat, Republican. That's just it. Not about freedom or anything like that. I'd rather see the middle class get a tax cut. Who's with me? Are all of you fine with the rich getting the lion's share? Because they know what they're doing. They know how to work around the rules. And I say rules because that's what they are. Because if we were serious about fixing taxes, we would fix the tax code. Have you ever seen other tax codes around the country, around the world, where you get like not even a one shit, you get a card. They send you a card in, I think, Holland and Japan. It's just one card. And this is what you owe, and this is what you paid, and that's it. There's no us.
Well, the tax codes basically become a mechanism of control by the government.
Well, of course it is. And sculpted in such a way that the powerful are able to sculpt a lot of this. Just like people asking, like the TSA thing. You want to know why they're fine with no taking your shoes off now? It's because the huge lobbyists of all the airline companies and travel companies have said, look, people are sick and tired of taking their stupid shoes off, right? And everybody's like, but it's for our safety. You do realize Richard Reed, who was the nut job who tried to blow up his shoes and take down a plane, that happened 3 months after 9/11. Then what? 5 years later, they put the shoe thing in. 5 years, not 5 minutes. And that will never happen again. Somebody taking over a plane, like it just isn't. We're never going to let it happen. It didn't even happen at the end. They ended up taking the plane down because they knew what was going to happen. They had to go. It's just not. You know what I worry about? Who's putting my stuff on? Who's underneath? Who could access those people? Who could get to the tarmac in certain areas? I worry more about that than what did you call it yesterday? The safety? Performative. Yeah, the performative safety of the TSA. Because it is performative. I think we recognize it. I mean, is anybody going, oh my God, I feel safe now? It's just so ridiculous. It is. So ridiculous. So the rich do pay rich pay a lion's share. Yeah, they do. Ask the rich if you really need a break. Do you? I mean, do you really need a break? Are you worried about it? And I'll say this, right, guys? This benefits me a lot more than 99% of you out there. And I didn't ask for it, didn't need it. There's other ways around things that we do. It's the way you pay people. That is, I would rather see the middle class across the board have opportunities and get breaks. Who wouldn't? And there's a lot of the middle class who are looking for that. And the struggle is they're the ones who got you there. That's just it. Absolutely. I don't see how that shouldn't be controversial. Oh, it's a right or left thing. No, it's a reality thing. Coming up, hour number 3 of said program. What are we going to talk about? Well, we're going to do nude bowling because that's happening. I think that's happening today, actually. So Belle and I will be in Pennsylvania a little while, naked as a jaybird. And by the way, Belle, passenger pigeons, they're not around anymore. Carrier pigeons are.
Oh, okay.
Right. I didn't even know pigeons were that big. They carry passengers. That's an odd thing, but what are you going to do, right? Coming up, hour number 3 of the program, Chad Benson Show.
Good afternoon. It's 2 p.m., and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. I'll have a weather forecast here in a little bit. President Trump meeting with leaders of various African nations today, and he's touting what he's calling a revamped economic partnership. The president also said the elimination of U.S. aid will lead to more robust trade deals in the region.
We have closed the USAID group to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse, which was tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. And we're working tirelessly to forge new economic opportunities involving both the United States and many African nations.
The PrepFAR Impact Tracker, it's a Boston University project that tracks foreign aid for HIV, says the disbanding of U.S. aid and its efforts to combat AIDS around the world could lead to 9,000 children dying by the end of 2025. No deal yet between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and U.S. officials on ending the fighting in Gaza. Netanyahu, he was in D.C. this week meeting with the president as well as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and other top congressional officials. Luis Martinez has more.
The main sticking point right now appears to be how Israel would withdraw from the southern city of Rafah. Of course, that's a main city that has been the target of main Israeli offensive operations. The question for them is how do they pull back? Because Israel says they need to maintain a presence in Rafah to ensure Israel's security. Hamas, of course, wants guarantees that Israel is going to pull out from there.
Canceling your subscription to things that can be, all that can be a rather complicated process. Now, a rule that was designed to make the process simpler is itself getting canceled. Here's ABC's Mike Dubusky.
A federal judge is now throwing out the click-to-cancel rule, a provision from the Federal Trade Commission that was set to take effect next week. The rule required companies to make the cancellation process for subscriptions as easy as the sign-up process. It also required them to get a customer's consent before charging for a membership. But the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals says the FTC made a procedural error by not doing a preliminary regulatory analysis, and a judge is vacating the rule.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Sorry, I was playing around with the new Grok on Twitter. It's the Diddy mode. Just yells anti-Semitic things at you.
I mean Kanye mode.
Oh, the Kanye mode.
Yeah.
That's right. It's odd, right? Like, how did it work fine the other day, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what? I hate Jews. Did you see the AI that tried to pretend to be Marco Rubio, called around, trying to get information? Yeah.
Did it mimic his voice?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. On the apps. Somehow they figured out what the apps were and called around to the power players who have the same app and tried to get information out of people. And they're like, what?
So does that have to be programmed by a person, or did the app program it itself?
No,
somebody was using it as a phishing technique?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was, I'm assuming it's a man because it's not a woman.
Women got better things to do.
Totally. Than do this crap. I can't believe. And now the ex, one of their heads of their company, she just bounced too. She's like, I'm out. I can't do this anymore. Elon. You and all this stuff.
Is it the woman he appointed CEO?
Yep. She's
so
gone.
she was tired of not being CEO.
She's tired of not being CEO.
Linda Yaccarino was handpicked 2 years ago by Elon Musk to run the social network. The former head of NBC Universal's ad business writes on the platform, "It was the opportunity of a lifetime, and she is immensely grateful to Musk for entrusting her with the responsibility of protecting free speech and turning the company around." On X, Elon Musk thanked Yaccarino for her service.
The yak. Hit the back, yak. I wonder, so she was CEO, not CEO. It's one of those things where
you're running the joint, except you do what I tell you.
Yeah. My buddy, he worked for years to get to the CEO position of the company. And the guy that retired and stepped down, he remained chairman, and he stayed in his office, and he basically still ran the company. They're like trying to push him out. Go. It's time to go. Oh, my Lord. People are angry about what's going on with Epstein. We might get to that in a little bit. Still looking at, 119 dead in the Texas floods, 170 missing. And they don't know how many people are missing because they still are having issues to find out all kinds of things like who was home, who was it, who was here camping that they didn't know about, which is some of the issues that they're also dealing with. And of course, then people want to know about things like, I don't know, how did this go so wrong so fast? And people are looking at some of the people locally, not Trump, but locally, who maybe struggled a bit.
The community here is asking these questions. What happened? When did it happen? Was the emergency manager awake at the time? Did they push the button to issue an emergency alert?
Sir, it's not that easy when you just push a button, okay? There's a lot more to that.
There's a conversation that's had. I understand. So did it happen, sir?
I can't tell you at this time.
Is it really? Like, was there a lot more to do? The sheriff there. Was there than pushing a button? Because I feel like a lot of that was done by other people. Your job was to get the information out and to push the button and to rally. And that little town Contours, not only did they have a siren, but they also then took it upon themselves to get to the areas that were going to be the most vulnerable and knock on doors. The first place they went, right next to the river, was the RV park, like where people are going there to camp and stuff, and getting them out of there as fast as possible. That was the first thing they did. And I think the questions, some people are back there and they're camping because the country itself, it's beautiful. It's kind of, it's not as high as a place like Flagstaff, Arizona. Like, it's where everybody goes in the summer in Arizona. They go up to Flagstaff. Why? Because it's nice and it's cool and it's 20 degrees, 30 degrees cooler than a lot of people go from all over because it is a little bit cooler. It's a little bit nicer. It's a little bit more wooded. So, but the camps were there. What did you do when it comes to the camps? How did you guys fail? And again, this has nothing to do with Trump, but when it comes to the fact that you've had several of these floods and you've had numerous opportunities to put in early warning systems that had nothing to do with sending out alerts on phones.
There's been a lot of scrutiny on Camp Mystic, but public records show that state inspectors approved the camp's emergency plans on July 2nd. There's something else that we dug into. Public records here in Kerr County show that the Kerr County Commission discussed the issue of a flood warning system 20 times since 2016, but installed nothing new.
And as early, or just in April, they were talking about it. And they actually awarded a company $78,000 or $73,000 to put in, I think, a test or a pilot area. But it's too late, and we're reactionary. And here's the thing. When something happens on an airplane, and they're like looking at the Air India thing, and we got some to talk about that, because apparently Air India was playing around with some issues that they had. But when something normally happens on the plane, what's the first thing they do? They go back to the drawing board. What didn't work? What can we do to fix something so it doesn't happen again? Not, let's watch this happen on numerous occasions, and then after a loss of a life, we'll fix it from there. After that. So it's awful. It is. And the blaming Trump thing, it's old and it's a waste of time. And look, a lot of people can have arguments with Trump. I've got some of my friends, the most progressive people in the world. They're like, how are you blaming Trump for stuff that hasn't even occurred yet? I mean, they're not idiots. They're not. And I was talking to my buddy the other day. He was uber progressive. And he's just like, this is why I don't like politics anymore. And he was a big mover in the world of politics, big activist as he got older. And he's like, it's all theatrical. It's performative. It's not real. Because blaming Trump for all the world's ills is, there's a lot. He goes, I have problems with a lot of stuff Trump does, but stuff that hasn't even occurred yet, I can't get mad at him for that. I'm like, no. You know what, though? People are mad. You want to know why? Epstein. He's dead. It has nothing to do with Epstein at this point in time. And, hey, here's a conspiracy for you guys. You guys ready for this one? Did you actually see his body? Did you actually see him leave? Did you see any of that? I know. It's like throwing out a new conspiracy. This has not hit well with the MAGA base. And yesterday, for all of the stuff on Axios and the piss poor way that they've handled this probably was this right here was the thing that pissed a lot of Trump supporters off.
Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for an American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the staff?
Yeah, sure. If
could I just interrupt for 1 second?
So there's Pam Bondi, who's useless. And just she's going to be gone by the end of the month. I mean, I don't know how they keep her. Even the other night, he tweeted out, if I'm correct, he tweeted out something about Bongino and Kash Patel, left her off. But she's been, I thought I had higher hopes for her of all the people, and she is not, she's been a waste of time, and she just wants to work for Fox. It really doesn't matter at this point. But he jumps in there, and he says something that I think is the thing that hit a lot of people who were really have poured their heart and soul into this and wanted justice and wanted to see people brought to heel and wanted all of that stuff, as if you just better deal with this and shut up.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
I don't know if it's a desecration, but you had a lot of people. This was a huge deal, 2015 and the run up through and then beyond. It was a massive deal to a lot of people out there who felt like, hey, all of these things are happening. There's this deep state that is doing all of this stuff, and they're manufacturing things. And this guy was a huge part of it. And out of nowhere, it was, it's nothing to see here. Everybody move on. After people had been not only their hopes, but they felt like we're in this and we helped you get there. And then you insulted them. And it's not about Epstein at this point in time. It's about looking at the people that supported you and said, hey, deal with it, okay? Shut up and deal with it.
And once again, we are told now, all the way from the heights of the United States Attorney General, that the Epstein case is closed. There's no more information on Jeffrey Epstein. Why do you guys keep asking about Jeffrey Epstein? She says that we don't need to hear about Jeffrey Epstein ever again. You know what this sounds like? I'm going to tell you exactly what this sounds like. Pam Bondi sounds like Hillary Clinton right now, saying, at this point, what does it even matter, when she was talking about Benghazi? All right?
That right there is Jack Posobiec. You hear him a lot with Chris. And they feel like you used us. We helped. We pushed. We were watching something earlier, Belle and I, that wasn't Tires, which is a great show. Several of you have chimed in about that. And it was Dan Bongino. And he was saying all these things. And we looked at each other and said, you're not walking that back. You're not. I've had on good authority. I know about this. I know about that. And now this is about people's credibility who feel like you lied to us and you're protecting something and you've made it worse. And then you insulted everybody along the way and they're not happy.
This is not how you treat the American people. This is not how you treat basic communications. This is not how you treat your voters and your supporters. And certainly, by the way, myself personally, I feel very angry, upset, used, every word you want to know, from having gone to the White House and receiving this binder full of baloney that was completely publicly available information already that we were told was new information on Epstein. It wasn't. We were told that more information was coming. There wasn't. You claimed that you had the list on your desk. You didn't. And none of it came out. And now when people have the obvious response of asking a question about it, you get in their faces and you tell them to stop asking. No, you sound like Hillary Clinton right now. And this isn't what you promised the American people.
No, it's not. And then you come out with, we're going after Comey and Brennan and the deep state, and the truth will come out. And when I tweeted that out, more people I know who love Trump more than they love politics, and there's a bit of cultist at times, said, yeah, I don't believe a lot of that stuff anymore. You got this one, you're going to have to prove it to me. And I think people feel like one was pulled over on them. We'll talk a little bit more about this because somebody said, hey, can you please discuss this? Nobody does. About the names on the list. What if they were released? We'll talk a little bit about that. We've got a lot of other stuff, including naked bowling. Balls Out, it's called. We'll talk about that as well, because why not, kids? Because naked bowling, my goodness me, who doesn't want a naked bowl? Me, that's who. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Smith chose the words "do" and "skinny."
If you know, you know. But if you don't, then you must subscribe to all the best words on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or stream it on YouTube on Super Talk TV.
Bulwark Capital on the 24th this month. That's a Thursday, 5:30 our time. They're having a webinar about your investments and your retirement. And it's unlike anything you've ever seen. So I keep my money with these people I go to. My buddy, Zach Abraham, he leads it. He's chief investment officer over there, and he is amazing. They're up in a major way this year. How and what they do is incredible. And this is the halftime webinar. They're going to look at what's taken place, as well as where they believe the market and the economy is going worldwide. And that's important because it's about the world, because they invest all over the world, and they're so smart about it. It's crazy. Doesn't cost you anything outside of a little bit of time. It is 5:30 on the 24th of July Go to knowyourriskpodcast.com to sign up today. That's Know Your Risk Podcast. It's absolutely free. Find out what they can do for you as they look forward. It is not a rah-rah thing. It is X's and O's, dollars and cents with our friends over at Bulwark. Sign up today at knowyourriskpodcast.com. Investment advisory services offered through Trick Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involved risk, not a guarantee. Past performance not guarantee. Future resist. Trek 25252. They've changed it.
No real commitment from the president on sending Ukraine those anti-missile systems. We'll have that story. Also, Senate sanctions on Russia headed to the president's desk, and we'll have more on the Texas flooding. Those stories coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Don't forget a little naked bowling coming up. So somebody texted us and said, hey, can you please discuss this? Nobody does. They released the names on the list, and this is Epstein, of course. He's dead. Or is he? What would happen? There would be mass lawsuits, defamation, because those on the list have not been convicted of anything. There would be mass, assassinations and threat to those who dare to release those names, and probably, powerful people all over the world. Isn't that the whole point? Isn't it the whole point that the powerful shouldn't be able to get away with stuff? Isn't that the point? The point should be, well, what if it destroys our government? Then it destroys our government. Because if our government was doing things that were awful, to hide a guy that was fine with diddling young girls and trying to catch other people to do things, you don't want to know that? Of course you do. At least I like to think so. But everybody wants to know it up to a certain point, and then maybe not. Somebody said, well, you're all blaming it on Trump because the buck stops with him. That's it. And it was the way he handled it. And Pam Bondi, she should have handled it. They all should have. You don't send something to Axios on a Sunday night. They did that on purpose to say, all right, we looked, there was nothing here. Nobody signed it. Right? It wasn't time-stamped. It was just, here's a one sheet. Nothing. We found nothing. rather than come out and explain, look, there are horrible images. There are all kinds of things that are bad and awful, and explain it rather than the way you did, and not give any real information. And then when somebody asks you about it, the way that you come back at them makes everybody who feels like they put their neck out there like they got taken advantage of. That's it. It's not a mean thing. It's just an honest thing. That's the way people feel. I got a lot of friends who are MAGA influencers and who love, and they were pissed. They were absolutely, they felt like there's got to be more. This just can't be it. Alas, here we are, kids. This is it, at least at this moment in time. We'll see. Maybe it comes back. Maybe it doesn't. But to think that there was no there. The more is coming out about what took place with this horrific flooding. But Ruidoso yesterday in New Mexico just got trounced. I was telling the guys before, so my wife lived there for a long time. In fact, she just moved from there to Arizona before we met. And we were on our way out here. We actually spent a couple days there. The flooding there is insane. And I was talking to my wife. She's like, yeah, the house that we lived in, I don't think it's there. I don't think it's there. And I was like, another one of the places last year, because a huge wildfire, and that's what caused a lot of this flooding. And to look at the force of nature, you only have to see how bad it was and how fast. It was only 3 inches, but it moved the essentially the runoff and everything up 20 feet over the banks and everything. And they're expecting more. And it's gonna happen. This is, and it has nothing to do with climate change or this, that, and the other. Remember, 1,000 years ago, stuff like this happened all the time. Do you want to know what was different? We weren't there. 100 years ago, if a hurricane rolled through Florida, there were 8 people on the beach. Now, there's thousands with $1 billion worth of property and cameras. And so, of course, it looks bigger and everything has to be political.
I bet you even 100 years ago, there was some surfers out there trying to catch some tasty waves.
Oh, God, yeah, duh, bro. You got to be like, man, I'm catching some tasty waves because I got it, man, because those things are big. Those are huge, man. I'm telling you right now, just so tasty. I'm going to be grinding. I'm going to be like, what? And I was like, Did you ever see that surfer? That guy, the interview with that guy? Oh, it was great. The surfer, I'll find it, maybe a break. It was the best interview about like big waves and something that happened. And it was so surfer Jeff Spicoli. And you're like, I knew guys like that growing up. I did. I knew guys like, what the hell? That guy, I know what he's saying, but wow, those guys still exist? Coming up, naked bowling. Now, I don't think you should naked bowl. But some people think you should do a lot of things.
Why are you trying to oppress me?
Well, naked bowling is balls out is what it's called. It's actually kind of interesting, the whole thought process of this. And this has to do, once again, also with getting off the internet. We'll talk a little bit about that as we wrap up the program here. Naked bowling, straight ahead. Chad Pitt Show, Super Talk 997.
Good afternoon. It's 2:30, and I'm Jay Harper. Naked newscasting here with your top stories, and we'll have a full forecast here in just a bit. Well, no real commitment from President Trump on whether the U.S. will indeed send anti-missile systems known as Patriots to Ukraine. The president has signaled he wanted to do so, but no firm plan is in place. Today, the president said this.
They would like it. They've asked for it. They're very rare indeed, because a lot of systems have been sent to Ukraine. But they would like to. I know they made the request. We're going to have to take a look at it.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says he hopes the Senate bill to impose sweeping sanctions on Russia will be on President Trump's desk before the Senate leaves for their summer recess. That happens on August the 4th.
Last night was a very violent attack. You know, President Trump has earnestly tried to end this war, tried to get Putin to the table, but the more we talk to Putin, the more violent he gets, so it's time to change strategy.
The Senate sanctions bill written by Lindsey Graham and Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal. Well, you can call it Monday morning quarterbacking, I guess, or maybe just a thorough examination of what went wrong. ABC's Jim Ryan says the warning system, or lack thereof, is part of the discussion in the wake of the deadly flooding in Central Texas.
People in the Texas Hill Country do get weather alerts on their smartphones, but in the place known as Flash Flood Alley, Colleen Lucas says,
you see those all the time. So it's like, really? It's going to get us?
But at the same time,
I'm not really sure there's anything such thing as over-alerting.
Brian Murray is an emergency manager in Houston.
The one thing that you don't want to get is into a position where you say, gosh, I wish we'd done something.
Even if people in flood-prone areas are feeling warning fatigue.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
All right, guys, Busy Bee. It's going to help you out with stuff. I'll tell you that right now. Busy Bee. HVAC and plumbing. And this time of year, it's hot. How about getting a new HVAC system? If you need one, you thought about it, it's not working the way you thought. Don't be like, oh, Ken, they're struggling there with this. Oh, goodness me. I just told them, I said, let me get Busy Bee on it and help you out. Right now, they got all kinds of cool things, including smart Wi-Fi water shutoff valve, right, which is incredible, so you can protect your home. And installed by the experts, $1,249 this July only. And that's not it. Tons of stuff, including a new HVAC system. And you can get a free air duct fogging and UV light home treatment. Now, check this out. If you want cleaner air, maybe you go buy the air duct cleaning and you realize, oh, I bought the middle package. They're going to give you the top tier package at no extra cost. Tons of great deals on home filtration systems, on all kinds of things when it comes to your plumbing and HVAC. And there's only one that you can do with Busy Bee. And on top of all of that, right now, you buy a Busy Bee Beehive Club membership, you can gift one to a neighbor. That's right, because community matters, and they're going to help you out with that. Call Busy Bee today, 775-7833, 775-7833, or online at busybeehvac.com.
Have you ever heard someone say, I used to be a Christian, but not anymore. After all I've been through, God wasn't there for me. Here's what the Apostle John said in the early church about false teachers in 1 John 2:19, about those who leave the Christian community. They went out from us, but they were not really of us. For if they had been of us, they would have remained with us. But they went out so that it would be shown that they all are not of us. Essentially, the Word of God is teaching what the true spiritual condition really is of those who walk away from their faith, that they never had true faith in the first place. Their true spiritual status is that of a false Christian. And when I say spiritual status, I mean Christ-like status. People who think they are Christians, thinking they are saved, but actually aren't, either believe in a false gospel or were false converts who never intended to follow God's prompting to accept Christ. There's no such thing as a used-to-be Christian.
All right, guys, I'm going to talk to you about my friends over at Wellness Institute of Nashville. Ready to help you right out of Big Daddy Trump special, $12. What are you going to get? Comprehensive exam, x-rays if needed, and they're going to explain the diagnosis on your first treatment, which is awesome. And what do you have to do? Nothing other than show up. You got pain in your back, put an end to it with our friends over at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Go to painisbad.com or call 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009. And talk to Dr. Ashley, Dr. Mitchell, and say, hey, what can you do for me? Because you probably tried a lot of things and you're getting frustrated. Don't give up. All right? Try this now. It's $12. Big Daddy Trump special. Comprehensive exam. You get that x-ray, all of that stuff. and they're going to build you a plan that's going to help you with your back. It is simple and easy to do. Schedule today for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Get that back for only $20. Go to painisbad.com or call 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009 for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. All right, you ready for this, Belle? This is a real human being that's a surfer.
Just like, dude, you got the best barrels ever, dude. Just like you pull in and you just get spit right out of them. And you just drop in and just smack the lip. Whoop-ah! Drop down, snap, and then after that, you just drop in, just ride the barrel and get pitted. So pitted like that.
Well, actually, you know what? I take.
It's a real person. Dude, and then when you like this, and then you get pitted, bro, and I was like, oh, man, whoosh, and then I was like, whoa, and it was like, and I was like, oh, my God. What do you think of that, huh? It is naked bowling, and it is taking place. That's right, kids. Naked bowling. It's the new thing now, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on that naturalists are doing.
You ever had that dream where you're in public and for some reason you're not wearing any clothes? Classic. Well, a few days from now, at a bowling alley in Pittsburgh, a bunch of people are going to realize there's no waking up. They are really bowling, buck naked. Over the holiday weekend, a notice went out to Pennsylvania nudists informing them there will be a chance to bowl in the buff at an event known as, well...
It's called Balls Out Bowling.
Meet Brandon. He's 37 years old, and he is the leader of the Pittsburgh area Naturists.
I mean, it's just a Pittsburgh-based group that does nudist activities ranging from game nights to karaoke nights and trivia, bowling, and things of that nature.
So Balls Out Bowling, and it's interesting why this guy's doing it. The whole nudist thing I've never got. I've never got that, the whole naturalist thing and why people would do this. And first of all, bowling just seems odd way to do this, but there's a lot of things they do out there naked.
Brandon's been organizing the bowling event for a few years now, and it's actually growing in popularity, particularly, he says, among younger folks.
I mainly started to do it myself because of the body positivity message that comes along with it.
He says as a black man and as a member of the LGBTQ community, he's seen so many friends affected by body dysmorphia. Well, when everyone's naked, he says, in a non-sexualized environment, everyone around you is equally vulnerable. You're literally stripped down to just, well, you.
A friend of mine that pointed this out to me, that he noticed that more people are actually not on their phones and actually talking more to people and actually like maintaining eye contact more just because they're trying to be more polite.
So somebody just said, do they wear bowling shoes? You know what? That's one of the things you got to wear. Clothing, no. Bowling shoes, yes.
To create a welcoming environment, he says, you got to have ground rules. Attendees are told that nudity is absolutely required, except women may wear bottoms if they want. And of course, everyone's got to wear their bowling shoes.
Like bring a towel, to sit on, and also like, don't gawk or stare.
The bowling alley rents its entire space to this group for these evenings and says they've had nothing but great experiences hosting them in past years. Now, if you don't usually roll like this, you might be surprised to know this is not close to the only sport being played fully nude around the country.
Yes. There are other things, including lots of bicycle rides, which I got stuck in one in San Francisco way back in the day. When I went up there to do some commercials, I was telling Belle about this yesterday, and because we got on to Michael Savage for some reason, and I got stuck in this like all-natural naked bike ride that was happening.
Every year, the World Naked Bike Ride sees bicyclists roaming the streets of major cities like Chicago, wearing as little as they dare. Helmets and padding are still encouraged. There's an entire calendar of nude and clothing optional running events from Riverside, California, to Creek County, Oklahoma, to Land O'Lakes, Florida.
Like in the nudist community, like some of the I guess, more popular sports, I would say volleyball, bocce, and pickleball. Actually, pickleball has become pretty big in the nudist community.
If bowling had wordplay, just imagine the possibilities with pickleball.
No, I'm not. No. I play pickleball a lot. There's no chance I'm playing it nude. Just never going to happen. I don't even know. Again, it's called balls out. And for guys, just like the gals, you're running around. There are certain bits that things happen. You don't want that.
Whether you know it or not, there are nudist events taking place in a community near you. Many of them are in private residences. Others are at
Swingers.
remote rural outposts. Sometimes they're private events, like a local museum in Pittsburgh gives periodic tours to Brandon's group after hours. Completely standard tour, the visitors just aren't wearing clothes. And this weekend, it will be a completely normal bowling league, as long as you keep your mind out of the gutter.
Oh, my Lord. I don't think I could... First of all, bowling is not a... You go bowling and you think, oh, yeah, I'm going to show you guys how good I might bowl at 300. And that first one goes in the gutter and then it's all over from there. It's all over from there. So naked bowling, it's happening. And there's you know what? There's probably something happening here. When I was a kid growing up, a kid who was on my soccer team, his family were nudist. Now, they only, like, in their house in the back, but it was so weird because you'd go over their house, and they were all, like, everything was natural, too, like their food. They were so granola, but they were nudist, and it was so weird. It was, it was weird. You can't do
If
it.
God had meant for us to be naked, he would not have created Levi's.
That's right. Boom, baby, boom. Boom. Don't lay down on the bench, you'll get pink eye. Don't gawk or stare. So, onlybikes.com. Yeah, I don't, it's just so bizarre. I couldn't, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. And you always think too, it's good to be the greatest. I remember first time I went to Europe, to Sweden, and we were in Denmark. We went to a beach because over there, it's like the early 80s. And if you go to Europe, a lot of times the women don't wear tops in most beaches, a lot of them. They don't wear tops. So you always think it's going to be like when you're a boy, you're like, this is going to be, and it's never what you think it is. It is never what you think it is. You're always like, oh, goodness me. Really? Really? Yeah, really. Really. Oh, my Lord. Just spoke to Ken, by the way. We've been texting back and forth. He will be here tomorrow. Very frustrated about he had issues today. He couldn't get here. So, but you know what?
Well, if the man can do without air conditioning in his car, it's like, show me you're really tough and just, get rid of it in the house.
What did he say? He was joking around. He said it was 87, are you ready for this? Effing degrees.
Tell him stick his head out the window.
It is 87 effing degrees in my house. That's what it is. Oh, maybe you made them uncomfortable with upgrading clothes being on. Yeah, no. People texting at us about the naked bowling. It's a trip that people do that. I could never. I mean, no. I'm not. It's never been my thing. It isn't. Have you ever known a nudist?
Not really. My parents knew one, and I had overheard them talking about it one time, and I was completely confused because I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I don't get what they're talking about at all.
It's just they're called they're naturalist. That's their new thing. They're naturalist. Naturalist. Everything was because everything is natural.
So what is nature's soap and shampoo, people?
I know. And you know what? So's the hemp you could wear for the clothing. Still, all the nastiness and craziness is going on in Texas. People are now coming out now that and asking serious questions about what took place. And also people are speaking about how they survived and what took place.
My husband had stayed awake. The rain was coming down really hard, and so he was making sure we didn't have any leaks in our RV. And he started to hear screaming, and he looked out and saw that the lower level of the park that's about 4 feet lower than us. The RVs were already they had water up to the doors. And
if you've seen over the last 24 hours, just type in Ruidoso, the beauty, and it's a gorgeous area in New Mexico. It's very posh, very upper class. I think it's the Inn of the Gods golf course. I mean, it's where the wealthy Texans go for their little vacations and stuff. And if you see how fast the wall of water moves, it's terrifying. You have no chance. Like everybody thinks, well, I'm just going to run away. I'm going to hold on. And that it doesn't work that way. And people are now getting upset because I think, they're starting to hear stories now where, wait a minute, you guys had an opportunity to put in an early warning system and you decided not to do it? Wait a minute, you decided to...
Well, it was going to be too loud.
Yeah, that was the big thing. It's going to be too loud. And
that's like saying I'm setting my alarm and turning it off.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing, and this is, I'm telling you, the whole process by which they were telling the camps how to do their warnings was crazy as we're finding this out. So, and I did this example earlier. So let's say I'm Camp A, right? Chad Camp. And then you got Bell Camp, and then you got J Camp. And water comes, and it's big, and it's filling up, and it's spilling out over the banks. I'm supposed to, and they think, well, it's just no, it's moving at a fast pace. I'm supposed to pick up the phone and call Bell, who's down a little bit, and the water's now pouring at him, to tell them that it's coming. Bell, in turn, is supposed to pick up the phone and then call J Camp and tell him it's coming.
When instead of making phone calls, you should be evacuating children.
That's exactly what you should be doing. That's exactly what it is. It's just... And we examine stuff afterwards, right? I mean, that's what we do. We try to find out the truth, and we want to know these things. It's not about pointing fingers. Everybody wants to point the finger, and they make it more political than they should, when you should want to know what actually took place. Because it's going to help in the future, so it doesn't. And people are pissed now because they're finding out you had opportunities to do certain things, and this has happened on several occasions, and you decided not to. And when it comes to kids, man, that's the number one thing. They should have been there immediately. Have you ever watched a movie? What's the first thing they said? Oh, my God, there's a kids camp. I watched Piranha the other day. It was on. Do you ever see the Piranha? William Cat, phenomenal. The first thing they said when they realized the piranha was getting in the lake, there's a camp with kids. Go. That's it. Speaking of fixing stuff, are you ready for this? This just came out. Air India Express, the budget subsidiary of Air India, the one that had the crash, the 787 that killed the 200-plus people, they've been faking safety records. They had been faking...
that answers some questions.
Yeah. So apparently, this was going all the way back into March, meaning the Indian government knew that there was lacks on their safety records, and at times just outright safety fraud. They said there was erroneous information was due to the mitigation of records, which, as somebody said, sounds like a fifth grader explanation. They said they faked their safety records for months and months. That's crazy. You're dealing with human beings. There's a reason when you're on an airplane, they call it souls. And I mean, they were, and the fact that the government knew they were kind of lax, also not a good thing. I mean, we get on our government about a lot of things, but goodness me. Coming up, I'm going to wrap up the program. Get on out of here so Matt can come in and do his thing. So I'm wandering around out there early. If you reach out to us across all of our social media. And remember, we've got a Rumble now. And don't ask us what the handle is because, well...
It's at 99.7 WTN, but it's not searchable right now for some reason, and they're working on getting it fixed.
Not searchable now, but it will be soon on the old Rumble. This is the Chad Benson Show, so we talk 99.7. My Pillow right now, $24.98 per Cal. Bed sheets are amazing. These things are incredible. Long staple cotton. Okay, so these things are so cool and crisp. You're going to sleep better. Deep pockets. They fit everything. And $24.98 is $24.98 for everything. Queen, $24.98. King, $24.98. Cal King, $24.98. Half and half king, I don't know what that is. $24.98. Right there. 11 colors to choose from. Easily, you can maintain this. Not one of those things where you wash and it shrinks and never fits again. These things are awesome. Get yours now. Save big. Just $24.98 for the best per Cal bed sheets right now from the amazing MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com/Benson and use my code Benson. That is mypillow.com/Benson. mypillow.com/Benson. Yeah, I bet they don't like that.
Now, when you hit them?
No, we're talking about physical therapy. They're probably not thrilled. Well, you know what? You're coming to them, and they know there's going to be pain involved, and they probably expect that there may be some foul language, but being attacked is probably
I felt like asking was a polite thing to do.
It was very polite. It was very kind. That's why you're a Southern gentleman.
Because I wanted to throw out a couple of them. I think maybe I did during the first PT.
Wait a minute. What did you ask?
At the beginning of my PT today, It's my second physical therapy, and I asked Abby, my physical therapist, I was like, where are you on, cursing? And she's like, oh, I'm fine with that. I said, because I feel like there's a couple of F-bombs that are about to come out. And she said, oh, you're good. Just don't hit me.
Yeah.
Has she been hit? Did she tell you she'd been hit?
I imagine.
You know
she's
what?
been
I'm
hit.
sure just out of reaction, on accident, stuff has happened.
Well, I had to stop myself. These therapies that we're doing are very basic. They're very basic movement. They're just let your arm hang and let it, swing your hand like a pendulum, back and forth, and just very, very basic stuff. And at the end of it, though, she does some stretching and range of motion stuff, and that's what hurts. And so I realized we got up to 127 degrees. So I'm not going to do it again because I won't look like Adolf Hitler. But if you're lying on your back and you stick your arm straight in the air, that's 90 degrees. And then the further you go back, toward the floor, then you're going over 90 degrees. And we got up to 127 degrees. The ultimate goal is to get to 180.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why does it? I mean, it was excruciating. And I had to stop myself from telling her to stop because I'm like, she knows what she's doing. And she's already told me that she's not going to do any negative damage. And so several times I wanted to say, you need to stop. You just need to stop. This hurts too bad. But I didn't. And we got up to 127 degrees. And I'm driving home and I'm thinking, why was that so painful? I know that I have a new shoulder and all that. And then I realized it's probably been, 10 years since I've had my shoulder in that position.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just the new shoulder, it's the lack of range of motion.
The lack of range of motion.
But it'll be good.
But he's doing better, kids. What's going on? What's on your radar today, as the kids would say?
I'm going to talk a little bit about the testimony of Joe Biden's doctor, or the lack thereof, because I think it's very interesting because it's one thing to walk into an environment like that and say, look, I'm a doctor, and it is against my moral code and my oath as a doctor to relate to you health information with the patient. Yeah. And I'm not going to do that.
But didn't do that.
But that's not what he did.
No.
I feel like he opened up an entire new room of questions, right? Wait a minute. You're telling us that your testimony is going to incriminate you?
Yeah. Pled the fifth.
Right.
Which is weird. Like, even Democrats are going, wow, that was not, why didn't you just come out and say, hey, look.
HIPAA.
Doctor, patient, confidentiality. I can't do that. Because that's kind of even, they were talking about, that's pretty much stood the test of time, even when it's been challenged in certain areas throughout the Supreme Court. But he went straight to, I plead the fifth. This is on me. This is not about him. It's on me.
Right. I don't want to go to jail.
I'm not even a real doctor. Jill and I went to school together. I know
my
about
last
pronouns.
patient was Michael Jackson. You might know him. So we'll talk about that. Obviously, and I've heard you talking about it. We've all been discussing just the senseless nature of natural disasters and the good things that we can learn.
Yes,
and
if we learn.
If we learn, but there are certain things, at some point, and I hear you. I hear what you're saying. That obviously there were things that the director of Camp Mystic perhaps could have done better.
Yes.
And I think he has paid for that with his life.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he's dead.
He's dead.
So, but moving forward, without needing to blame others, let's try to learn from this to figure out how we can better serve the communities around the United States of America and not put kids in danger.
Yeah. I mean, it's 100%. Like I said, I watched the movie Piranha. When the piranhas got out into the water, boom, the first thing they did
is the kids.
They said, hey, kids got to camp. They're going to get eaten. And that guy jumped in and saved them all. That's what happens, kids. Speaking of that, coming up next, the piranha himself.
Speaking of piranhas.
Matt Murphy, straight
King
ahead.
of the Osteophytes!
That guy. See you tomorrow.